Red, red wine, stay close to me. Don't let me be alone. It's tearing apart my blue heart.
Okay, GX owners, I finally did it. I took the plunge. I finally did it. I am one of the many GX owners that said that we would keep it OEM for like the longest time because we promised ourselves we wouldn't take our very expensive SUV off the beaten path, but we did it. And we did it for several reasons. And I'm going to share you my experience. So today we are going to talk about my choice, my personal choice, why I chose what I chose. It has nothing to do with you guys. This is all my logic, my mentality, my inner thoughts. I'm not passing judgment on what you guys chose. This was all me. I'm like many of you that before choosing what we did, we researched for days and months and sometimes years, and we just couldn't decide. We were just on that fence. We couldn't decide because once we decided investing that much money into our GX, there was no turning back. So our choice had to be something that we were able to live with for a very long time. I watched countless hours of narrow wheels versus wide, BF Goodrich KO2s versus Falcon Wild Peaks, Method wheels versus Rhino wheels versus KMC versus SSW versus blah, blah, blah. I have spent countless hours in front of that television watching many, many, many videos to finally decide what my combo set would ultimately be. So let's talk about narrow versus wide tires. Okay, so when I first started my project and jumping in head first into this project, I wanted something that was going to be the most least invasive. I didn't want no chopping, I didn't want no kicking my car, I didn't want no welding, I didn't want any of that. I wanted simple. I also wanted my tire and wheel combo and the size fitment to still look okay, stock, and still look okay and still be functional if I decide to lift my vehicle. So whatever I got had to fit that criteria. I also went as far as conducting a study. There was a YouTuber that compared the amount of ground contact with the wide tires versus the narrow tires, and he concluded that there was really no difference. Did I believe him? I kind of wanted to do the test myself, so I did it. And just as I suspected, the ground coverage between narrow and wide were exactly identical. So guys, I chose fuel, wheels, and Nitto Ridge Grappler tires. Oh my God, I know, right? I didn't choose methods. I didn't choose BF Goodrich KOs. I didn't choose Falcon Wild Peaks. I took a different path. Now let's start from the beginning, guys. Like all of us, we saved up enough money to make that first step. The more I drove past a GX460 with a nice set of wheels and a nice set of tires and lifted, it made me even want to break that bank a lot sooner to get my combo package. And when I drove past a bunch of GX460s with some Asian mom driving in there, it even made me want to do it so much more. I really hated the stigma that the GX460 carried with it for a long time, folks. So I decided it was finally time. But I want to get started talking about why I didn't choose what a lot of people did choose. And the very first one that I wanted to talk to you guys about was the TRD wheels. So why didn't I go for TRD wheels, folks? For a couple of reasons. I'm going to be quite honest with you. Toyota TRD wheels, I felt, was a complete downgrade if I was to take it and put it on a Lexus. If you guys did it, more power to you. That's just the way my mind kind of set itself from the rest. If you put a Toyota part, I know Lexus and Toyota's the same. Okay, I get it. Let's get past that, okay? Let's pretend for a minute that we did spend the extra money. We do have the extra luxury. We do have the Lexus badge for a minute. And now we're slapping a component that says Toyota on it. It's not inside the car, it's not in the trunk, it's not in the gas tank where I could buy a fuel pump from Toyota. It's visible. I'm slapping a Toyota part onto a Lexus, and I felt like it was a complete downgrade. Number two, and I'm not kidding you guys, I have a couple of friends with GX470s. They don't know each other. They both have black TRD Pro wheels on their GXs, and they just happen to both be gay. And we're not talking about the gay where you can't tell. We're talking about flaming gay. We're talking about pink leather pants to work. They are both gay. They don't know each other, and they both have GXs with TRD wheels. And I'm like, I put one and one together, and I came to the conclusion that TRD wheels were gay. Next set of wheels, Method wheels. Why didn't I buy Method wheels? Well, that wasn't my mentality at first. I wanted to get Method wheels. Method wheels were badass. You know, it's out there. A lot of GX460s had them. They were expensive. They were high end. They were known for off-road vehicles. They were expensive. You know, the list went on and on and on. And so I went out for reals. I had my mind, my money, my wallet set on Method wheels. I was going to buy some Method wheels. Method wheels, NV305s, double black, 17 by 8.5, zero offset to be exact. I also looked at other Method wheels, to be honest with you. I looked at the whole entire catalog for Method wheels, all of them in black. No, I didn't choose bronze. I didn't choose any other color. I was going to get black. So when I went to the off-road store and started picking out all these Method wheels, I actually picked them up. And holy shitballs, Batman, they were heavy as fuck. So why was weight important to me, guys? Well, I mean, we have to consider MPGs, right? I do long trips. I do a lot of long road trips. I do drive a lot on the weekends. And we also have to consider that the tires we are going to put on our heavy as fuck wheels are also going to be heavy. Okay, so issue number 2 with Method wheels. You go online, you go on Reddit, you go on I Hate Mud, you go on Club Lexus, you go on YouTube. Everybody and their mother has Method wheels. Their mothers had Method wheels. Their mother's grandmother's mother had Method wheels. I already have a super popular color, which is white, and I'm putting on Method wheels, which will probably narrow down the group of GX460 owners that had white GXs with Method wheels. We're talking about maybe 10,000 in my city alone. And problem number 3, the more I looked at Method wheels, the more I realized they look better on a school bus, a forklift, a semi-truck, a passenger train. I don't know. I've always had an eye out for JDM style or race inspired 6-spoke, maybe 7-spoke design wheels, and Method wheels, their engineered designs just doesn't fit that category. So ultimately, in the end, I took Method wheels off of my list of wheels I want. Then back to the drawing board, it went for me, and I started to read a lot more Reddits, and I started to go on a lot more in search of an alternative wheel that was also off-road capable and also a up-and-comer and also looked really nice, right? A brand by the name of Fuel and Arena caught my eye. There was a rim called Fuel Shock that I kept staring for the longest time. And I also looked at a rim right next to it, which was an Arena wheel, which also looked pretty nice. I kept going back and forth. I took the rim next to my car. I did cutouts of pictures. I stuck it on my computer screen. I just couldn't sleep. I just kept looking at him and thinking about him and looking at him, thinking about him. And I finally felt that Fuel might be the wheel I was going to ultimately choose. But Bobby, I heard that Fuel is made in China. Son of a bitch, so is every other off-road wheel, man. Every single off-road wheel that you're gonna want out there are all American companies that are engineered and designed in America, but they are all manufactured using Chinese labor. That's the only way they can profit, man. So the fact that Fuel and Arena and all these other off-road wheels that I was actually choosing didn't really affect me. That wasn't what I was looking at. That wasn't what I was factoring in when I was choosing my wheel. I just wanted design, I wanted weight, and I wanted something that wasn't going to break my bank. So off to the off-road store I went, and I took a look at the Fuel wheels that I saw online. And holy shit, the thing was like 25, 26 pounds. It was so freaking light. I talked to myself and I said, I'm gonna talk myself out of getting Fuel wheels. I'm gonna look at other rims. I carried a whole bunch of other rims. Fuel was by far the lightest wheel in the whole entire store. Hey, so guys, finally, let's talk about tires. I definitely wanted aggressive treads. I wanted an aggressive looking sidewall. It didn't have to be heavy loaded. I'm not doing any extreme off-roading anytime soon. Maybe in the future, I don't know, but by that time I'm gonna buy a whole brand new set of wheels. I wanted to test out these wheels first. So what I was looking at is I want a nice set of tires where I can occasionally go to Big Bear Lake, maybe once or twice a month, and maybe hit that dirt path. But I'm not gonna be climbing rocks and I'm not gonna be jumping cliffs or anything. I just want something that's gonna be able and capable of just going over a curb or two. So I ended up looking at the 3 most popular tires I have been reading about online that were going to be about the C-rated level. I don't care about E-rated, I don't care about heavy duty. I wanted something that was going to be light, something that I can take for daily driving, something that's going to be quiet, and something that wasn't going to break my bank. So ultimately, I'm going to look in those categories within BF Goodrich, KOs, Falcon Wild Peaks, and also the Nitto Grapplers. I know that all over the forums and all over the internet, people are throwing weight numbers all over the place and they don't match anything to what the real weights are of the original tires. So I went to the manufacturing website to get my numbers. BF Goodrich KO C-rated tires weigh in at 45.7 pounds. And we rounded up, that's 46 pounds of rubber. And add your freaking heavy wheel onto that. Next, we had the Falcon Wild Peaks that came in at 46.5 pounds. That's heavier than the BF Goodrich. So when I went to the Nitto Ridge Grapplers webpage, I found them to be coming in at a low 43.4 pounds. I finished my study, I was done. Fuel wheels with Nitto Ridge Grappler tires. And that is how I found my combo set. There you guys have it. Finally did it. Splurged a little bit of money. Got me some 17x9 Fuel Shok Wheels. Matte black on some Nitto Ridge Grapplers 265/70/17 on stock height. Did I have to trim? Oh yeah, of course. I trimmed the plastic in the front. Did I do the zip ties? No, I didn't bother doing the zip ties because over time, zip ties are going to dry out due to the weather and the environment and all that, and they're gonna end up breaking on you. And if they break on you in the middle of the road somewhere, your tires are gonna be hitting that. It's gonna be making some noise. I might as well just get rid of the problem once and for all by doing the complete trim in the front. I just trimmed the plastic all the way up to where the tires don't hit anymore, and that was a bit, it barely hit. It barely hit. It wasn't even that huge of a big deal. And in the back, a lot of people did cut the running boards. I didn't even bother cutting the running boards because I didn't have an issue. The only small little tiny issue that I had was that bolt, that inner bolt all the way inside that everybody's talking about. Everybody replaced it with a plastic flush pin or something like that. I just left it off because it wasn't moving. Even if you took that bolt out, which I did, we took the bolt out, that piece of plastic was so hard and stuck against the running board, it didn't need any other fastener to hold it in place. I will eventually get a plastic push pin, but I just don't have one right now, and I'm in no hurry because it's not going anywhere. I am not getting any type of rubs or tire to metal contact whatsoever. No body chops whatsoever. So stock height 265/70/17 on 17-inch wheels, 0 offset, and I am doing great on this setup with the least amount of work.